My name is Michael Dean, or so I thought. I was hired to decommission an ICE detention center in Fresno, California, a concrete maze abandoned since a 2020 lawsuit exposed its horrors. They said it was empty, just steel and dust waiting for demolition. They lied. In the basement, behind a rusted freezer door, I found a hallway that didn't exist on any blueprint. Down there, people were frozen alive, breathing, whispering my name in the dark. One had my face, another knew my secrets, and something else was watching a blurred figure called the Warden, its voice like a machine rewriting my mind. It knew who I really was, and it wanted me to forget. The image of that impossible hallway lingered, a dark gash in my mind. And the Warden's metallic voice, "It wants me to forget," echoed as I stepped into the Fresno ICE Detention Center. The concrete fortress squatted under a gray July 2025 sky. Its barbed wire rusted, its boarded windows like empty eyes. Shut since 2020. After a lawsuit exposed inhumane conditions, detainees left in solitary. Vanishings. No one explained. The place felt alive. Watching. The air inside was thick, damp, like breathing through a mildewed cloth, laced with a metallic tang, like blood. My boots scuffed the cracked linoleum, the sound swallowed by silence. Then, a whisper my name. Michael, faint but sharp. From the shadows. I spun, flashlight beams slicing the gloom, catching nothing but dust. "I'm Michael Dean," I told myself, gripping my ID. 3 years as a safety engineer after a Fresno State degree. I dealt in facts gauges, circuits, not ghosts, but my neck prickled, like eyes were boring into me. My job was simple. Check temperature gauges, test electrical systems, sign off for demolition. The lobby was a time capsule faded contraband posters, a receptionist's desk coated in dust, a pen still capped. A bulletin board sagged with notices. One in red ink, "Do not enter sub-level B." My blueprints showed no sub-levels, just a basement with a freezer. I jotted it down, my pen loud in the quiet. My radio crackled. "Dean, you in?" Carl, my supervisor, sounded distant through static. "Yeah, it's a tomb," I said. Static hissed. Then his voice, "Check the basement. Freezer's on. Weird." "Huh." I frowned. "Power's cut." The line died, the radio's red light blinking weakly. I clipped it to my belt and headed for the basement stairs. Behind a steel door marked "Authorized Personnel Only." The handle was cold through my gloves, hinges groaning as I pushed through. A shadow flickered at the stairwell's edge, blurred, like a smudged photo. I froze, heart pounding, but it was gone. The Warden's voice echoed in my mind. It knew who I really was. The basement air was colder, my breath fogging in the flashlight's beam. Pipes dripped condensation, pattering like rain. The industrial freezer loomed, a steel box coated in frost, humming like a pulse. The gauge read -28 degrees Celsius, impossible without power. I tapped it. The needle held. My flashlight caught a logbook on a table, pages brittle. I flipped it open. Maintenance log, 20 on 12. My name, Michael Dean. Freezer inspection. 070625. Yesterday, I hadn't been here. Another entry. Elena Marquez. System check. 624. Terminated. The word chilled me. A faint tap came from the freezer, like fingernails on metal. Slow, deliberate. I circled the freezer, the hum vibrating in my bones. A red camera light blinked above the door. Unlisted on the blueprints. I checked my phone, no signal. The screen glitching. My reflection twisting into a younger face. Scared. Then back. I shoved it away. Heart racing. The tapping grew insistent, joined by a sob. Female. Desperate. José, help. I froze. That wasn't my name. Or was it? A memory flickered a woman's hand in mine, running through a desert. I shook it off, pain spiking behind my eyes. I found a breaker box, rusted shut. Prying it open, I saw switches, main power, freezer unit all off, yet the hum persisted. Cables led to a locked panel, its keyhole gleaming. New. I jammed my crowbar in, but it held. The tapping turned to scraping, and the sob became a plea. Don't let me remember. I checked the logbook again, finding José Alvarez. Archived. 2003. The photo was blurry, but the eyes felt like mine. A note read, "Resists reset. Freeze protocol." My stomach twisted. The red light pulsed faster, and the hum shifted. Almost a whisper. "Michael." I swung my flashlight, catching a scrawl on the wall. "Forget to live." My radio crackled, the metallic voice hissing. "You're waking up." "José, stop." I dropped it, the plastic cracking. The tapping was a drumbeat now, the sob clearer. From behind the freezer door, I gripped the crowbar, my hands shaking, knowing I had to open it. The warden's words rang. "It wants me to forget," but something in me, maybe José, was starting to remember. The freezer door's icy handle burned my glove. Its hum, a relentless pulse vibrating through the concrete of the Fresno ICE Detention Center. The warden's metallic warning. "You're waking up." "José, stop," looped in my head, clawing at the edges of my identity. I was Michael Dean, safety engineer, not José Alvarez. Yet the logbook scrawl, the Polaroid of strangers with my face, and that whispered plea, "José, help," made my grip on the crowbar tremble. The frost on the door glowed faintly. The words, "Forget to live," etched deeper, as if carved by an unseen hand. The red camera light above pulsed like a heartbeat, watching. My flashlight flickered, its beam struggling against the basement's gloom. The air was thick, metallic, like blood and rust, stinging my throat. I circled the freezer, boots crunching on frost, spreading unnaturally across the floor. The tapping started again, faint, deliberate, like fingernails on metal, coming from inside. My phone was useless, its screen glitching, my reflection twisting into a younger face, eyes wide with fear. Before snapping back, I shoved it in my pocket, heart pounding. The tapping grew rhythmic, a code I couldn't crack, joined by a soft sob female. Desperate. "Don't let me remember." I tried the radio. "Carl, you there?" "Something's in the freezer." Static roared. Then that metallic voice, not Carl's, hissed. "Open the door. José." I dropped the radio, its plastic cracking on the concrete. The red light pulsed faster, and the hum shifted, almost a whisper. "Michael!" I swung my flashlight, catching a shadow at the stairwell's edge blurred, like a smudged photo. It vanished, but the prickle on my neck screamed Warden. I was Michael Dean, I told myself, but a memory flickered a woman's hand. Desert dust. Her voice. "Run. Jose." Pain spiked behind my eyes. I found a pile of detainee files scattered near the freezer, pages brittle with frost. One read, Elena Marquez. Escaped 2024. Terminated self. Her photo showed haunted eyes. A note scrawled, "I saw my daughters. Remembering is death." My chest tightened. Unexplainably, another file. José Alvarez. Detained 2003. Archived. The photo was blurry, but the eyes felt like mine. A note. Resists reset. Freeze protocol. I slammed it shut. The sob from the freezer louder now. "Jose, help." The tapping turned to scraping. Urgent, like claws digging. A control panel beside the freezer hummed, its screen flickering. Archive system. Active. Memory suppression. 87%. I pried it open, revealing wires pulsing with faint light, leading to a locked panel in the wall, its keyhole gleaming. New. I jammed the crowbar in, but it held. The tapping became a drumbeat, and the sob formed words. "Don't tell me my name." I stepped back, flashlight dimming. A clatter behind me made me spin a coworker. Sarah stood at the stairs, her hard hat askew. "Michael, you okay?" she called, voice shaky. "You hear that?" I pointed to the freezer. She frowned, stepping closer, but the tapping stopped, the hum softening. "Hear what?" she said, eyes darting. "It's just us." I showed her the logbook. My name listed for yesterday. "I wasn't here," I said. She scanned it. "Paling, this says I was 2. I wasn't." Her name was there, Sarah Klein. Sublevel B check. 070625. She shook her head. "This place is wrong." A faint tap resumed, and Sarah froze, eyes wide. "That's inside." I nodded. Crowbar raised. The red light pulsed, and a metallic voice crackled from my radio. On the floor. "Sarah, you're waking up." "Stop." She gasped, backing away. "What was that?" I grabbed her arm. "We need to open it." The freezer door rattled, a lock clicking free. The hum grew louder, chanting faintly. Words I couldn't catch. Sarah shook her head. "I'm not going near that." She turned to leave, but a file fell from her pocket. Sarah Klein. Detained 2018. Archived. Her photo showed her. Younger. Terrified. "That's not me," she whispered, voice breaking. The sob from the freezer surged. "Sarah, don't," she screamed, running for the stairs. I shouted after her, but the door slammed shut, the hum drowning her footsteps. I turned back to the freezer, the frost words glowing. "Forget to live." A small recorder lay among the files, labeled José Alvarez. Session 1, 2003. I pressed play, my hands shaking. A voice mine pleaded. I didn't do anything. "Where's my mother?" A metallic voice responded. Forget her. Jose, forget to live. The tape cut to static. The tapping was frantic now. The sob, a scream. Jose, don't let me remember. I gripped the crowbar, heart slamming, and reached for the handle. The warden's voice hissed in my head. Open it. Jose. The door shuddered, and I pulled. The cold searing my hand, knowing whatever was inside was waiting for me. The freezer door's screech still rang in my ears, its arctic fog clinging to my skin as I stared into the impossible hallway, stretching into darkness. The warden's warning, "You're waking up." Jose. Stop. Looped in my mind, a metallic hiss that felt like it was rewriting me. My name was Michael Dean. I told myself, clutching the crowbar, its rust flaking onto my gloves. But the logbook's scrawl, the Polaroid of a crew I'd never met, and that name, José Alvarez, gnawed at my certainty. Like a crack in a dam, I stepped into the hallway, boots slipping on icy concrete. The air was sharp, slicing my lungs, heavy with a metallic tang, blood or rust. I couldn't tell. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, flickering like a dying pulse, casting shadows that twisted when I looked away. The walls, raw and glistening with frost, were scratched with names and pleas. Carlos, 2019. I forgot. Elena. Don't tell me. My flashlight caught a red scrawl. Detainees below have forgotten themselves. Do not remind them. Beside it, a Polaroid. Decommissioned crew. 2025. With me in the center, smiling among strangers. I tore it down, my hands shaking, stuffing it into my pocket. The freezer's hum followed, a chant vibrating in my bones. The metal staircase clanged under my weight, each step echoing into a void below. The cold was brutal, my breath fogging. The metallic scent now mixed with decay. Halfway down, I froze. A figure stood at the bottom, the warden, his icy uniform pristine, his face a swirling void, like static on a dead channel. You're out of protocol. His voice rasped, layered with distortion. I gripped the crowbar. I'm Michael Dean, I said, voice cracking. He tilted his head, unnatural, and glitched. I am the warden. This is my archive. His form flickered, vanishing into shadow. The hallway stretched, lined with numbered steel doors, locked tight. A faint tapping echoed, not from the freezer now, but from deep within. Like a heartbeat, my flashlight dimmed, its beam barely cutting the gloom. Scratches on the walls read, Maria Alvarez, 2003, Elena Marquez, 2024. A memory stabbed me, her hand in mine. Desert dust choking us. Her voice, run. Jose. Pain flared behind my eyes. I checked my ID, Michael Dean, 1985, but the name Jose felt like a splinter I couldn't pull out. A door labeled Room 12 stood ajar, blue light leaking out. The tapping was louder, joined by a sob female. Desperate, I pushed it open, hinges groaning. Inside, a man slumped against a frost-coated wall, his skin purpled, chest rising faintly. I shook him, voice trembling. Wake up! His eyes snapped open, bloodshot, and he grabbed my wrist, his grip ice cold, speaking in my voice. You're back. Jose. I tore free, heart pounding. His face wasn't mine. but those eyes were. The warden appeared in the doorway, his void face shifting. Subject resists. He glitched. Freeze protocol initiated. The room grew colder. Walls pulsing like a lung. I bolted. The door slamming shut. The hallway darkened. Lights flickering wildly. Files littered the floor, brittle with frost. I grabbed one. Elena Marquez. Escaped 2024. Terminated self. Her photo showed haunted eyes. A note scrawled. I saw my daughters. Remembering his death. My chest tightened. Another file. Maria Alvarez. Detained 2003. Archived. Her eyes warm. Fierce hit me like a blade. A memory surged. Her scream. Jose. As agents tore us apart. I clutched my head. Tears freezing on my cheeks. The tapping spread. Doors rattling. Sobs overlapping. Don't tell me my name. I stumbled into an alcove, finding a control panel. Its screen flickering. Archive system. Active. Memory suppression. 85%. Names scrolled Jose Alvarez. Elena Marquez, all marked archived or terminated. My name. Michael Dean. Memory supervisor. Resisting. I smashed the screen with the crowbar. Sparks flying. But it kept scrolling. A moan came from a door labeled Archive Access. Its handle warm. Unnatural. I pushed it open, revealing a corridor of files. One labeled Jose Alvarez, 2003. Inside, a transcript. Subject detained with Maria Alvarez. Resists reset. The memory hit again, her hand slipping. Flashlights blinding. The warden materialized, his void face pulsing. You're breaking the archive, he hissed. Voice looping. Remembering is termination. The tapping became frantic. Sobs louder Elena's. Maybe my mother's. Don't let me remember. The walls closed in, pulsing. I ran for the stairs. The warden's laughter a distorted echo. The crowbar heavy. My heart screaming I was more than Michael Dean. The freezer door's screech tore through the silence. Its arctic fog swallowing me as I stumbled into the impossible hallway of the Fresno ICE Detention Center. The warden's metallic hiss, open it. Jose burned in my mind, unraveling the certainty that I was Michael Dean. The crowbar trembled in my grip, its rust flaking onto my gloves, as the name Jose Alvarez, scrawled in logbooks and whispered in sobs, clawed at my identity. The hallway stretched into darkness, its frost-glistening walls pulsing faintly, like a living thing. The hum from the freezer followed, a low chant vibrating in my chest, and the faint tapping nails on metal echoed from deeper within, joined by a woman's plea. Don't let me remember. I moved forward, boots slipping on icy concrete, the air so cold it burned my lungs. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting jagged shadows that seemed to writhe. My flashlight dimmed, its beam barely piercing the gloom. The walls were etched with desperate scratches. Elena, 2024. Carlos, 2019. I forgot. Maria Alvarez, 2003. That name Maria hit like a knife, sparking a memory, her hand gripping mine, desert dust choking us. Her voice urging, run, Jose. Pain flared behind my eyes, and I clutched my ID Michael Dean, born 1985, trying to anchor myself. But the Polaroid in my pocket showing me with strangers, and Sarah's terrified flight after hearing her name made the ground feel unsteady. The hallway opened to a metal staircase, its steps slick with frost. Each clang of my boots echoed into a void below. Halfway down, I froze. A red scrawl on the wall read, "Detainees below have forgotten themselves. Do not remind them." Beside it, another Polaroid. Decommissioned crew, 2025. My face in the center, smiling among blurred figures. I tore it down, hands shaking. As the hum grew louder, almost words now. Forget. Live. At the staircase's base, the warden stood, his ice uniform pristine, his face a swirling void of static. "You're violating protocol. Jose." He glitched, his voice inside my skull. I raised the crowbar. "I'm Michael Dean." He tilted his head, unnatural, and vanished. His laughter a distorted echo. The hallway stretched on, lined with numbered steel doors. Their locks rusted but solid. A faint tapping came from one labeled Room 12, blue light leaking through its cracked frame. The sob was clearer now. Female, broken. "Jose, don't!" I pushed the door, hinges groaning, and stepped into a small chamber. The walls pulsed, frost-coated, like a breathing lung. A man slumped against the far wall, his skin purpled by cold, frost clinging to his tattered clothes. His chest rose faintly. He was alive. I knelt, shaking him. "Hey, wake up." His eyes snapped open, bloodshot, wild, and he grabbed my wrist, his grip like ice. In my voice, he rasped, "You're back, Jose. You shouldn't have come." I tore free, stumbling back, heart slamming. His face wasn't mine, but those eyes dark, haunted, felt like a mirror. "Who are you?" I demanded. He smiled, thin and broken. "You'll remember soon." The warden appeared in the doorway, his void face shifting, a smile forming where no mouth should be. Subject resists. He glitched, voice layered with static. Freeze protocol initiated. The room grew colder, walls pulsing faster, frost creeping over the man's eyes. He whispered, "Don't let them make you remember," his voice fading as ice sealed his lips. I bolted, the door slamming shut, the hallway darkening as lights flickered wildly. Files littered the floor, brittle with frost. I grabbed one. Elena Marquez. Escaped 2024. Terminated self. Her photo showed haunted eyes. A note scrawled. I saw my daughters. Remembering his death. My chest tightened. A pang I couldn't place. Another file. Maria Alvarez. Detained 2003. Archived. Her eyes warm. Fierce sparked a memory. Her scream, "Jose," as agents tore us apart. I sank to my knees, tears freezing on my cheeks, the crowbar clattering. "Mama," I whispered, the word tearing me open. The tapping spread, doors rattling, sobs overlapping. "Don't tell me my name." I stumbled to a control panel, its screen flickering. Archive system, active. Memory suppression, 84%. Names scrolled: Jose Alvarez, Elena Marquez, Sarah Klein, all marked archived or terminated. My name blinked. Michael Dean. Memory supervisor. Resisting. I smashed the screen with the crowbar. Sparks flying. But it kept scrolling. A recorder lay nearby. Labeled Elena Marquez. Session 22. 2024. I pressed play. Hands shaking. Elena's voice sobbed. I saw my daughters. I can't forget. The warden cut in. Memory overload. Terminate. The tape hissed static. The warden materialized. His void face pulsing. You're breaking the archive, he hissed, voice looping. Remembering his termination, the tapping became frantic. Sobs louder Elena's. Maybe my mother's. Jose, don't remember. The walls pulsed, closing in. I ran, the warden's laughter chasing me. The crowbar heavy, my heart screaming I was more than Michael Dean, but terrified of who Jose might be. The warden's glitched warning, remembering his termination, chased me as I fled the pulsing chamber. The frozen man's words, "You're back," Jose burning in my mind. My name was Michael Dean. I clung to that. But the name José Alvarez, etched in files and whispered in sobs, was unraveling me. The crowbar shook in my grip, its rust staining my gloves. As I ran through the icy hallway of the Fresno ICE Detention Center, the fluorescent lights flickered, casting writhing shadows, and the hum vibrated, a chant whispering, "Forget, live." My flashlight was nearly dead, its beam a faint glow against the frost glistening walls, etched with desperate scratches. Elena, 2024. Maria, 2003. Don't tell me. My boots slipped on the icy concrete. The air so cold it seared my lungs, thick with a metallic tang of blood and decay. The memory of my mother, her hand slipping from mine. Her scream, "Jose," stabbed again, tears freezing on my cheeks. I checked my ID, Michael Dean, born 1985, but it felt like a lie. The hallway seemed to stretch, doors multiplying, their numbers blurring. 12, 17, 12 again. A faint tapping echoed, joined by a sob. "Jose, don't." I stumbled into an office, its door half open, a fluorescent bulb buzzing erratically, a printer word, spitting out a sheet. Decommission unit. Jose Alvarez. Status. Forgetting initiated. My heart slammed. I wasn't Jose. Or was I? The office was a relic, dusty desks, scattered papers, a computer screen flickering with static. I grabbed the sheet, my hands trembling. Another page listed Elena Marquez, escaped 2024, terminated self. Her photo showed haunted eyes. A note scrawled, "I saw my daughters. Remembering is death." My chest tightened, her pain echoing mine. Another file. Maria Alvarez, detained 2003. Archived. Her fierce eyes sparked that memory again, desert dust. Flashlights. Her voice fading. I sank into a chair, the crowbar clattering. "Mama," I whispered. The word a wound. The computer screen glitched, displaying my face, not Michael Dean, but labeled Jose Alvarez, ICE escapee, 2003. I froze, my reflection in the screen twisting. Younger, terrified. The warden's voice crackled through the speakers. "You're resisting. Jose, accept the reset." His void face appeared on the screen, static swirling where eyes should be. I smashed the keyboard, but the image held, his voice looping. Reset. Reset. I yanked the power cord. Sparks flying, but the screen stayed on. My face flickering between Michael and Jose. A stack of files spilled from the desk. One labeled Sarah Klein. Detained 2018. Archived. Sarah, my coworker who fled. Her photo showing her younger. Eyes wide with fear. A note read, subject recalled family. Freeze protocol enforced. The sob from the hallway surged. Sarah, don't. I spun. Flashlight catching a shadow at the door, the warden. His ICE uniform pristine. His face a pulsing void. You're breaking protocol. He glitched, stepping forward, boots silent. I raised the crowbar. Stay back. He tilted his head. Unnatural. Jose, you chose to forget. Don't undo it. His form flickered. Closer now. His hand cold as death reaching out. I swung the crowbar, but it passed through him. His body dissolving into static. Reforming behind me. The archive preserves order. He hissed. Voice inside my skull. I ran. The hallway darkening. Lights flickering wildly. The tapping spread. Doors rattling. Sobs overlapping. Don't tell me my name. I found a recorder on the floor. Labeled José Alvarez. Session 2, 2003. I pressed play. Hands shaking. My voice younger. Desperate pleaded. Where's my mother? I didn't do anything. The warden's voice cut in. Forget her. Jose. Forget to live. The tape hissed static. Then a scream mine. The hallway seemed to twist. Walls pulsing like a heartbeat. I stumbled into a control panel. Its screen flickering. Archive system. Active. Memory suppression. 83%. Names scrolled José Alvarez. Elena Marquez. Sarah Klein, all marked archived or terminated. My name blinked. Michael Dean. Memory supervisor. Resisting. I smashed the screen. Sparks flying. But it kept scrolling. A new file caught my eye. Carlos Rivera. 2019. Terminated. His photo showed a man. Eyes hollow. A note. Recalled brother. Memory overload. The sob grew louder. Elena's. Sarah's. My mother's. Jose. Don't remember. The warden materialized. His void face pulsing. You're breaking the archive. He hissed. Voice looping. Remembering his termination. The walls closed in. Frost creeping up my boots. I gripped the crowbar. Heart screaming. I'm not Jose, but the memory of my mother, her hand. Her scream felt truer than Michael Dean. The tapping was frantic. Doors shaking. And I ran. The warden's laughter a distorted echo. Knowing the archive was waking something in me I couldn't stop. The warden's distorted laughter, "You're breaking the archive," chased me through the icy hallway of the Fresno ICE Detention Center. His words slicing into my mind like a blade. My name was Michael Dean, I told myself, gripping the crowbar, its rust flaking onto my trembling hands. But José Alvarez's name, scrawled in files, whispered in sobs, and burned into my memories, my mother's hand slipping. Her scream, Jose, was tearing me apart. The hallway's frost-covered walls pulsed. the fluorescent lights flickering like a dying pulse, casting shadows that twisted and reached. The hum vibrated, a chant whispering, "Forget, live." My flashlight was a faint glow, barely cutting the gloom. As the air grew colder, thick with the metallic tang of blood and decay, I ran, boots slipping on icy concrete, the tapping from behind the numbered doors growing frantic, joined by overlapping sobs. "Don't tell me my name." The memory of Elena Marquez's file, her haunted eyes. Her note, remembering as death clawed at me, mirrored by Sarah's terrified flight and the recorder's plea in my own voice. "Where's my mother?" The walls were etched with more scratches. Elena, 2024. Maria, 2003. Carlos, 2019. I forgot. Each name felt like a warning, a tether to a truth I wasn't ready to face. The hallway twisted, doors blurring. 12, 17, 12 again. I stumbled into an alcove, a control panel flickering, archive system, active, memory suppression, 82%. My name flashed: Michael Dean, resisting beside José Alvarez, archived. I smashed the screen with the crowbar, sparks flying, but it kept scrolling. A shadow loomed, and I spun, heart slamming. The warden stood there, his ice uniform pristine, his face a swirling void of static. No badge, no name, just a smile where a mouth shouldn't be. "I am the warden." He glitched, his voice a chorus of distortion, echoing inside my skull. I maintain the archive of minds. I raised the crowbar, voice shaking. "What do you want?" He stepped closer, boots silent, his form flickering like a corrupted file. "Your memories, your crimes. You chose to forget." "Jose," I shouted. "I'm Michael Dean. My ID, Michael Dean." 1985 felt like a lie in my pocket. The warden tilted his head. "Unnatural. José Alvarez chose to forget. But you're waking up. That's a violation." His hand reached out, cold as liquid nitrogen, brushing my arm. My skin burned, and I swung the crowbar, but it passed through him, his body dissolving into static, reforming closer. "You can't outrun the system," he hissed. I bolted, the hallway darkening, lights stuttering. A recorder lay among scattered files, labeled Carlos Rivera, Session 10, 2019. I pressed play, hands trembling. A man's voice broken, pleading cried, "I saw my brother. I can't forget him." The warden's voice cut in, memory overload. "Terminate." A scream, then static. My chest tightened. Elena's note echoing, remembering his death. Another file caught my eye. Maria Alvarez, detained 2003, archived. Her fierce eyes sparked a memory, her hand in mine. Desert dust, flashlights blinding us. "Mama," I whispered, tears freezing on my cheeks, pain spiking behind my eyes. The tapping surged, doors rattling, sobs overlapping. "Jose, don't." I found a steel door labeled Archive Core, its handle warm, unnatural in the cold. I pushed it open, revealing a room of shelves packed with tapes, each marked with names: Elena Marquez, Sarah Klein, José Alvarez. A monitor flickered, showing my face, not Michael, but Jose, younger, terrified, strapped to a chair. An off-screen voice asked, "Your name?" I answered, "José Alvarez." The warden's voice cut in. "Initiate reset. Forget to live." The screen glitched, my face morphing into Michael Dean's, smiling, calm. I staggered back, the crowbar slipping. The warden materialized, his void face pulsing. "You're breaking the archive," he hissed, voice looping. "The system preserves order. Memories are chaos." I clutched my head. The memory of my mother, her scream. "José," tearing through me. "What is this place?" I demanded. He tilted his head, static swirling. "The archive stores what you discard. Your crimes, your pain. Forget and live." The sobs grew louder, Elena's, Sarah's, my mother's. "Don't let me remember." The walls pulsed faster, frost creeping up my boots. I ran, the warden's laughter a distorted echo, the tapes rattling on the shelves. I stumbled back into the hallway, the doors shaking, the hum chanting, "Forget, live." A new file lay at my feet. Sarah Klein, 2018, resisting. Her photo showed her running, just as she had upstairs. A note read, "Recalled family. Freeze protocol enforced." My heart screamed I wasn't Michael Dean. Not fully, but José was waking, and the archive was fighting to bury him. The warden's voice hissed from nowhere. "Return to protocol. José." I gripped the crowbar, knowing the truth was behind those doors, but terrified it would kill me. The warden's glitched command, "Return to protocol." José pursued me as I fled the archive room, its shelves of tapes rattling like bones in the dark. My name was Michael Dean, I repeated, clutching the crowbar, its rust biting my gloves. But José Alvarez's name, etched in files and screamed in memories, my mother's voice. José was fracturing me. The Fresno Detention Center's icy hallway pulsed, its frost-covered walls breathing, fluorescent lights flickering like a faltering heart. The hum chanted, "Forget, live." My flashlight was a dying ember, barely piercing the gloom. As the air grew colder, thick with blood and decay, the sobs from behind the numbered doors surged. "Don't tell me my name." My boots skidded on icy concrete. The walls scratched with pleas. Elena, 2024. Maria, 2003. Carlos, 2019. I forgot. Elena Marquez's note, "Remembering is death," burned in my mind, mirrored by Sarah's file and the tape of my own voice begging for my mother. A memory stabbed her hand, slipping in the desert. Flashlights blinding, her scream fading. I clutched my ID, Michael Dean, 1985, but it felt hollow. The hallway twisted, doors blurring. 12, 17, 12 again. A faint tapping echoed, joined by a moan, not from the doors, but from my feet, where frost crept up my boots. Unnatural, alive. I stumbled into a data room, its shelves packed with cassette tapes, each labeled with names: José Alvarez, Elena Marquez, Sarah Klein. A monitor flickered, showing a grainy video, me or José strapped to a chair, eyes wide, pleading, "Where's my mother?" The warden's voice cut in. "Forget her. José, initiate freeze protocol." The screen glitched. my face morphing into Michael Dean's. Calm. Empty. I smashed the monitor with the crowbar, sparks flying, but the audio looped. Freeze protocol. Freeze. A tape labeled Elena Marquez. Session 22. 2024 lay nearby. I pressed play, hands shaking. Elena sobbed. I saw my daughters. I can't forget. The warden's voice hissed. Memory overload. Terminate. A scream. Then static. The room grew colder. Walls pulsing faster. Frost cracking like breaking bones. I found a file. Maria Alvarez. Detained 2003. Archived. Her eyes fierce. Warm tore through me. "Mama," I whispered, tears freezing on my cheeks. The memory of her scream, José, ripping me open. The tapping surged, doors rattling, sobs overlapping. Don't let me remember. I spun, and the warden stood there, his ice uniform pristine, his face a swirling void. "You're breaking the archive." He glitched, voice a chorus of static. "Freeze protocol is mandatory." I raised the crowbar. "What are you?" He tilted his head. "Unnatural. I am the warden. I preserve order. Memories are chaos." His hand reached out, cold as death, and I swung, but he dissolved into static, reforming closer. "You chose to forget." "José," he hissed. "Your crimes, your pain. Don't undo it." I shouted. "I'm Michael Dean." But the memory of my mother, her hand, the desert felt truer. A door nearby rattled violently. Marked room 17. I pushed it open, the hinges screaming. Inside, a woman lay on the floor, frost coating her skin, her chest rising faintly. Her eyes opened, bloodshot, and she whispered, "José, you came back." Her face wasn't Elena's, but her voice echoed the sobs. "Don't tell me my name," she pleaded, frost creeping over her lips. The warden appeared behind me, his void face pulsing. "She resists, like you." He glitched. "Freeze protocol will correct her." The room's walls pulsed, frost spreading, and the woman's eyes widened in terror. "I saw my son," she gasped, then froze, ice sealing her face. I backed away, heart pounding, the crowbar slipping. The warden's voice filled the room, remembering his termination. "Forget to live." I ran, the hallway darkening, lights stuttering. A new file lay at my feet. Sarah Klein, 2018, resisting. Her photo showed her running. A note. Recalled family. Freeze protocol enforced. The hum chanted louder. Walls closing in. I found a control panel, its screen flickering. Archive system. Active. Memory suppression. 81%. My name blinked Michael Dean, resisting beside José Alvarez. Archived. I smashed it, but the screen held. Names scrolling. Elena Marquez. Carlos Rivera. Maria Alvarez. A memory surged my mother's scream. Agents tearing us apart. I sank to my knees, tears freezing, the crowbar clattering. The warden materialized, his void face looming. "Return to protocol." "José," he hissed, voice looping. "Or join them." The doors rattled, sobs screaming Elena's, Sarah's, My mother's. Jose. Don't remember. I gripped the crowbar, heart torn, knowing the archive was waking Jose, and it might kill me. The warden's glitched threat returned to protocol. Jose echoed as I fled the data room, its tapes rattling like a warning. My name was Michael Dean, I told myself, gripping the crowbar, its rust flaking onto my trembling gloves. But José Alvarez's name, carved in files and screamed in memories, my mother's voice. Jose was shattering me. The Fresno ICE Detention Center's icy hallway pulsed, its frost-covered walls breathing, fluorescent lights flickering like a failing heart. The hum chanted, "Forget, live." My flashlight was nearly dead, its beam a faint whisper against the gloom. As the air thickened with blood and decay, the sobs from the numbered doors surged. Don't let me remember. My boots skidded on icy concrete, the walls etched with pleas. Elena, 2024. Maria, 2003. Carlos. I forgot. Elena Marquez's note, remembering his death, burned in my mind, mirrored by Sarah's file and the frozen woman's plea. Don't tell me my name. The memory of my mother, her hand slipping in the desert. Her scream tore through me, tears freezing on my cheeks. I clutched my ID, Michael Dean, 1985, but it felt like a mask. The hallway twisted, doors blurring, 17, 12, 17 again. The tapping grew frantic, joined by a moan. Not from the doors, but from the walls, pulsing like lungs. I stumbled to a massive steel door, unmarked, its handle so cold it fused to my glove. Frost-formed words, "Forget to live." I pushed, hinges screaming, and stepped into a vast chamber. The walls breathed, frost cracking with each pulse. Like a living organ, dozens of bodies lay on the floor, encased in ice, their chests rising faintly, eyes darting beneath frozen lids. In the center, a figure sat, frost coating his face, my face. His eyes opened, bloodshot, locking onto mine. "You're late, Jose," he rasped. In my voice, I stumbled back, my scream trapped. The warden's voice echoed from the walls, remembering his termination. "Forget to survive." I scanned the chamber, heart pounding. A woman lay nearby, her face frozen in a scream, a label above her. Elena Marquez recalled too much. Her eyes, beneath the ice, seemed to plead. Another figure, a boy, no older than 10, whispered, "Don't tell me my name," his voice muffled by frost. The walls pulsed faster, frost creeping up my boots. I gripped the crowbar, shaking. Why is this happening? I demanded. The frozen me sat up, ice shattering. "You forgot to escape," he said. "Your name, your crimes, why they locked you here. Remember, and they freeze you again." The warden materialized, his void face pulsing, ice uniform pristine. "You're breaking the archive." He glitched, voice a chorus of static. "The system preserves order." I shouted, "What is this place?" He tilted his head, unnatural. "The archive stores your chaos memories, pain, crimes. Forget and live." His hand reached out, cold as death, and I swung the crowbar, but it passed through him, his form dissolving into static, reforming closer. The sobs surged Elena's, the boys, my mother's. Jose, don't. A memory hit her hand in mine. Flashlights blinding. Her scream fading. Mama. I gasped. Tears freezing. A tape lay among the bodies. Labeled José Alvarez. Session 14, 2003. I grabbed it, hands trembling, and jammed it into a nearby player. The screen flickered, showing me Jose strapped to a chair, eyes wild. "Where's my mother?" I pleaded. The warden's voice answered. "Forget her." Freeze protocol initiated. The screen glitched, my face morphing into Michael Dean's. Calm. Empty. The tape hissed static. Then a scream mine. The walls pulsed faster, frost cracking, and the frozen me stood, ice falling. "You're waking up," he rasped. "It'll kill you." The warden's voice boomed. Return to protocol. Jose. The chamber grew colder, bodies twitching beneath the ice, their eyes darting. I ran. The crowbar heavy, the hallway darkening as lights stuttered. A file lay at the door. Sarah Klein, 2018. Terminated. Her photo showed her running. A note. Recalled family. Freeze protocol enforced. The sobs grew louder. Elena's, Sarah's, my mother's. "Don't let me remember." The warden appeared, his void face looming. "You're next," he hissed, voice looping. The walls breathed, closing in, frost gripping my boots. I clutched the crowbar, heart torn, knowing Jose was waking, and the archive would freeze me to keep him buried. The warden's booming threat, "You're next," pursued me as I fled the breathing chamber, its frost-covered walls pulsing like a living lung. The frozen me's rasping words. "It'll kill you," tearing at my core. My name was Michael Dean. I insisted, gripping the crowbar, its rust flaking onto my trembling gloves. But Jose Alvarez's name, etched in files and screamed in memories, my mother's voice. Jose was shattering my reality. The Fresno Ice Detention Center's icy hallway twisted, fluorescent lights flickering like a dying pulse. The hum chanting. "Forget. Live." My flashlight was dead, its beam gone, leaving me in near darkness, the air thick with blood and decay. The sobs from the numbered doors surged. "Don't let me remember." My boots skidded on icy concrete. The walls scratched with pleas. Elena, 2024. Maria, 2003. Carlos. I forgot. Elena Marquez's note, remembering his death, burned in my mind. Mirrored by Sarah's file and the frozen woman's plea. The memory of my mother, her hand slipping in the desert. Her scream ripped through me, tears freezing on my cheeks. I clutched my ID, Michael Dean, 1985, but it felt like a lie. The hallway blurred, doors multiplying, 17, 12, 17 again. The tapping was frantic, joined by a moan. Not from the doors, but from the frost creeping up my boots. Alive, whispering, "Jose!" I stumbled into a narrow chamber, its walls pulsing, frost cracking like breaking bones. A figure sat in the corner, half-thawed, ice dripping from his tattered clothes. His skin purpled but warming, his eyes opened, bloodshot, and he whispered, "Jose, you're still here." His voice wasn't mine, but it felt familiar. Like an echo of the frozen me. I knelt, crowbar shaking. "Who are you?" He smiled. "Broken. I forgot to survive." "You will too." He pointed to a body nearby, fully frozen. Labeled Elena Marquez, recalled too much. Her face was locked in a scream, eyes pleading beneath the ice. She remembered her daughters. He rasped. The pain was too much. She ended it. My chest tightened. Elena's note echoing. I backed away, the walls pulsing faster. The warden materialized, his ice uniform pristine, his void face swirling with static. "You're breaking the archive." He glitched, voice a chorus of distortion. "Forget to survive." I shouted, "Why are you doing this?" He tilted his head. Unnatural. The archive stores chaos memories, pain, crimes. Remembering his termination, his hand reached out, cold as death, and I swung the crowbar, but it passed through him, his form dissolving into static, reforming closer. A journal lay among the frost, its pages brittle, labeled Elena Marquez, 2024. I opened it, hands trembling, her handwriting scrawled. I saw their faces, heard their voices, forgetting his safety, but remembering his truth. I couldn't live with it. My heart pounded, her pain mirroring mine. Another page. Maria Alvarez, 2003. She fought for her son, Jose. They froze her for it. The memory hit her hand in mine, flashlights blinding. Her scream, "Jose." I sank to my knees, tears freezing, the crowbar clattering. "Mama!" I gasped. The word a wound. The tapping surged, doors rattling, sobs overlapping. "Don't tell me my name." A tape lay nearby, labeled José Alvarez, Session 15, 2003. I jammed it into a player, the screen flickering. It showed me Jose strapped to a chair, pleading, "I just want my mother." The warden's voice cut in. "Forget her." Freeze protocol enforced. The screen glitched, my face morphing into Michael Dean's. Calm, empty. A scream mine then static. The thawed man grabbed my arm, his grip weak but desperate. "Forget her," he whispered, "or you'll end like Elena." His eyes darted to her frozen body, then dulled, as if he'd lost himself. The warden's voice boomed. "Return to protocol." "Jose." The chamber grew colder, frost creeping up my legs, the walls pulsing like a heartbeat. I ran, the hallway darkening, lights stuttering. A file lay at the door. Sarah Klein, 2018. Terminated. Her photo showed her running. A note. Recalled family. Freeze protocol enforced. The sobs grew louder. Elena's, Sarah's, my mother's, Jose. "Don't remember." The warden appeared, his void face looming. "You're waking the archive," he hissed, voice looping. "Termination is imminent." The walls closed in, frost gripping my boots. I clutched the crowbar, heart torn, knowing Jose was rising, and the archive would kill to keep him frozen. The warden's chilling threat, "Termination is imminent," echoed as I fled the breathing chamber, its pulsing walls and frozen bodies searing into my mind. My name was Michael Dean. I clung to that, gripping the crowbar, its rust flaking onto my trembling gloves. but José Alvarez's name, scratched in files and screamed in memories, my mother's voice. José was breaking me apart. The Fresno ICE Detention Center's icy hallway twisted, fluorescent lights flickering like a dying pulse, the hum chanting, "Forget, live." The air was thick with blood and decay, frost creeping up my boots, alive, whispering, "José." My flashlight was dead, leaving me in near darkness, the sobs from numbered doors surging. "Don't let me remember." My boots skidded on icy concrete, walls etched with pleas. Elena, 2024. Maria, 2003. Carlos. I forgot. Elena Marquez's journal. Remembering is truth burned in my mind, mirrored by Sarah's file and the thawed man's warning. The memory of my mother, her hand slipping in the desert. Her scream tore through me, tears freezing on my cheeks. I clutched my ID, Michael Dean. 1985, but it felt like a lie. Then it hit, a flood of memories crashing like a wave. I was José Alvarez, 18, crossing the border in 2003. My mother's hand, warm and steady, gripped mine as we ran through the desert night. Flashlights blinded us, agents shouting. They tore her away, her screams, "José," echoing as I was dragged to this place. Fresno, locked in the freezer's depths. Michael Dean's life college. Job. Apartment was a program. A lie burned into my brain to keep me docile. I sank to my knees, sobbing like a child. The crowbar clattering. "Mama!" I gasped, tears freezing, the pain ripping me open. The hallway pulsed, walls breathing, lights stuttering. The warden materialized, his ice uniform pristine, his void face swirling with static. "You're breaking protocol." "José." He glitched, voice a chorus of distortion. "Reset or terminate." I screamed, "I won't forget her." My voice echoed, shaking the doors, the sobs surging. "José, don't." A tape lay nearby, labeled Maria Alvarez, Session 3, 2003. I jammed it into a player, hands trembling. The screen flickered, showing my mother, strapped to a chair, eyes fierce. "Where's my son?" she demanded. The warden's voice answered, "Forget him." Freeze protocol enforced. Her scream mine, then static. The walls pulsed faster, frost cracking like bones. I stumbled into a control room, its monitor flickering. Archive system, active. Memory suppression, 80%. My name blinked, José Alvarez. Resisting beside Michael Dean. Terminating. Files littered the floor. Elena Marquez, 2024. Terminated self. Her note. I remembered too much. Another. Sarah Klein, 2018. Terminated. Her photo showed her running, eyes wide with fear. The memory of my mother's scream surged, her hand slipping. Agents tearing us apart. I smashed the monitor, sparks flying, but it kept scrolling. Names blurring. Carlos, Elena, Maria. The warden appeared, his void face looming. "You're waking the archive," he hissed, voice looping. "Termination is inevitable." I gripped the crowbar, heart pounding. "What did you do to her?" I demanded. He tilted his head, unnatural. Maria Alvarez resisted. She was archived. Like you. His hand reached out, cold as death, and I swung, but he dissolved into static, reforming closer. Forget. Jose. He glitched. Live. The sobs grew louder. Elena's, Sarah's, my mother's. Jose. Don't remember. The walls closed in, frost gripping my legs, pulsing like a heartbeat. A journal lay on a desk, its pages brittle, labeled José Alvarez, 2003. My handwriting scrawled. They took her. I tried to fight. They said, forget or die. My chest tightened. The memory of her voice keep running. Jose breaking me. I found a locket among the files. Hers, with a photo inside. Me, young, smiling beside her. Mama, I sobbed, clutching it, tears freezing. The warden's voice boomed. You're breaking the system. The doors rattled, sobs screaming. A new file. Maria Alvarez, 2003. Terminated. Her photo showed her frozen, eyes pleading. The archive wasn't just storing memories. It was erasing us. I ran, the hallway darkening, lights stuttering. The warden's laughter chased me, a distorted echo. The frost crept higher, my boots heavy, the hum chanting. Forget, live. I clutched the locket, knowing Jose was awake and remembering my mother would kill me. But I couldn't let her go. The warden's glitched hiss, you're waking. The archive pursued me as I clutched my mother's locket, its cold metal burning my palm. I was Jose Alvarez, not Michael Dean. The memories of 2003, her hand slipping, her scream, Jose, tearing through the lie of my engineered life. The Fresno ICE Detention Center's icy hallway pulsed, its frost-covered walls breathing, fluorescent lights stuttering like a dying heart. The hum chanted, forget, live. The air was thick with blood and decay, frost gripping my boots, whispering my name. The sobs from the numbered doors surged. Don't let me remember. My crowbar trembled in my other hand, its rust flaking. As Elena Marquez's note, remembering is death, and Sarah's file haunted me. I ran, boots skidding on icy concrete, the walls etched with pleas. Elena, 2024. Maria, 2003. Carlos. I forgot. My mother's face fierce, warm flashed, her scream echoing as agents tore us apart. The hallway twisted, doors blurring, 17, 12, 17 again. I stumbled into a power room, its walls humming with cables, a breaker box flickering with unnatural light. A monitor displayed, archive system, active, memory suppression, 79%. My name blinked Jose Alvarez, resisting beside Michael Dean, terminating. I gripped the crowbar, heart pounding, and ripped out the cables with a primal yell. Sparks flew, the hum becoming a wail, then silence. The hallway shook, frost cracking like gunfire. I ran back to the breathing chamber, where the frozen bodies lay, their chests rising faintly. Ice splintered, steam rising as they thawed, groans filling the air. Some woke, shrieking, "Don't make me remember." Others melted into black sludge, their forms dissolving, eyes wide with terror. A woman sat up, clutching a locket like mine, whispering, my son, before collapsing into sludge. Elena Marquez's body remained, her face frozen in a scream, peaceful now, as if she'd chosen her end. A boy, no older than 10, crawled free, his voice hollow. I forgot my name. I'm safe. His eyes were empty, his self erased. The warden materialized, his void face pulsing. ICE uniform, pristine. You've broken the archive. He glitched, voice a chorus of static. Chaos is not permitted. I raised the crowbar. Let them go. He tilted his head. Unnatural. They chose to forget, like you. His hand reached out, cold as death, and I swung, but he dissolved into static, reforming closer. Reset or terminate. He hissed. The thawed detainees moaned, some clawing at their faces, screaming names: Carlos, Elena, Maria S. Frost reformed, pulling them back. The boy stared at me, whispering, "Don't say my name." Before his eyes dulled further, a file lay among the melting ice. Maria Alvarez, 2003, terminated. Her photo showed her frozen, eyes pleading. A note. Recalled son, Jose. Freeze protocol enforced. My chest tightened. Tears freezing. A memory surged her hand in mine. Desert dust. Her voice. Keep running. Jose. I clutched the locket, sobbing. Mama. A tape nearby. Labeled Jose Alvarez. Session 16. 2003. Flickered on a cracked player. My voice young. Desperate cried. I won't forget her. The warden's voice cut in. Freeze protocol enforced. Memory reset. A scream mine then static. The walls pulsed faster. Frost creeping up my legs. The warden's voice boomed. You're waking them all. Jose. Termination is imminent. The thawed detainees writhed, some dissolving, others refreezing, their sobs overlapping. Don't let me remember. I ran, the hallway darkening, lights stuttering. A new file. Sarah Klein, 2018. Terminated. Her photo showed her running. A note. Recalled family. Terminated self. The warden appeared, his void face looming. The archive is eternal. He hissed, voice looping. You cannot stop it. The frost gripped my boots, the hum returning, chanting, forget, live. I clutched the locket, heart torn, knowing my mother's memory was waking Jose, and the archive would kill to keep us both frozen. The warden's glitched warning, the archive is eternal, rang in my ears as I fled the thawing chamber. The screams of detainees dissolving into sludge or refreezing echoing behind me. I was Jose Alvarez, not Michael Dean. The memories of 2003, my mother's hand slipping, her scream, Jose, now a fire in my chest. The Fresno ICE Detention Center's icy hallway pulsed, its frost-covered walls breathing, fluorescent lights stuttering like a dying heart. The hum chanted, forget, live. The air was thick with blood and decay, frost gripping my boots, whispering my name. My crowbar shook in my hand, its rust flaking. As Elena Marquez's note, remembering his death and the thawed boy's empty eyes haunted me. I clutched my mother's locket, its weight the only anchor in this nightmare. My boots skidded on icy concrete. the walls etched with fading pleas. Elena, 2024. Maria, 2003. Carlos, I forgot. My mother's face fierce, warm flashed. Her scream tearing through me as agents ripped us apart. The hallway twisted, doors blurring, 17. 12, 17 again. I stumbled into a control room, its walls lined with humming panels, a single monitor flickering. Archive system, failing. Memory suppression, 78%. My name blinked José Alvarez, resisting beside Michael Dean. Terminated. Files littered the floor, their pages brittle with frost. I grabbed one. Maria Alvarez, 2003. Terminated. Her photo showed her frozen, eyes pleading. A note. Recalled son, Jose. Terminated by protocol. My chest tightened, tears freezing. Mama, I sobbed, the locket burning in my hand. A tape lay nearby, labeled José Alvarez. Final session. 2003. I jammed it into a player, hands trembling. The screen flickered, showing me Jose, 18, strapped to a chair, eyes wild. I won't forget her. I screamed. The warden's voice cut in. Memory reset failed. Terminate. A scream mine, then static. The walls pulsed faster, frost cracking like gunfire. The warden materialized, his ice uniform pristine, his void face swirling with static. You've broken the archive. He glitched, voice a chorus of distortion. Chaos is not permitted. I raised the crowbar, heart pounding. Where's my mother? I demanded. He tilted his head. Unnatural. She remembered you. She's gone. His words were a blade. I screamed, swinging the crowbar, but it passed through him, his form dissolving into static, reforming closer. Forget. Jose, he hissed. Live. The sobs from the hallway surged. Elena's, Sarah's, my mother's. Jose, don't remember. I stumbled to a steel cabinet, its door ajar, revealing a final file. Archive directive, Fresno facility, 2003. Inside, a memo. The archive preserves order by erasing memory. Detainees who resist reset are frozen, their identities replaced. José Alvarez, failed reset, terminated with Maria Alvarez. My heart stopped. We were both here, both erased. My life as Michael Dean, a lie to keep me compliant. The monitor flickered, showing my mother, frozen, her eyes darting beneath the ice. A voice hers whispered, Jose, run. I smashed the monitor, sparks flying, but her image held, her lips moving. I remember you. The warden's voice boomed. Termination imminent. The walls closed in, frost creeping up my legs, pulsing like a heartbeat. I ran, the hallway darkening, lights stuttering. A new tape lay at the door. Sarah Klein, 2018, terminated. Her photo showed her running. A note. Recalled family. Terminated self. The sobs grew louder, overlapping. Don't let me remember. I gripped the locket, my mother's face burning in my mind. I won't forget, I whispered, tears freezing. The crowbar felt heavier, but I swung it at a control panel, sparks exploding as the hum wailed, then faltered. The doors rattled. Detainees' screams rising, some thawing, others dissolving into sludge. The warden appeared, his void face looming. "You're destroying the archive," he hissed, voice looping. "You'll join her." I swung again, the crowbar striking a cable bundle, sparks flying. The frost retreated, the walls slowing their pulse. A woman's voice, my mother's, echoed. "Jose, I'm here." I followed the voice to a final door, unmarked, its handle warm in the cold. I pushed it open, revealing a chamber of frozen bodies, my mother's among them. Her eyes open, pleading. "Jose," she whispered, her voice breaking through the ice. The warden's laughter filled the room, his form flickering. "You've remembered." He glitched. "Now you die." The frost surged, gripping my body, but I clutched the locket, my mother's voice anchoring me. "I remember everything," I said, swinging the crowbar at the warden, knowing it was futile, but refusing to let her go. The warden's final hiss, "You've remembered. Now you die," echoed as I stood in the frozen chamber, my mother's eyes pleading through the ice. Her voice, "Jose, I'm here," anchoring me against the frost, gripping my body. I was José Alvarez, the lie of Michael Dean shattered by memories of 2003. My mother's hand slipping, her scream, "Jose," as agents tore us apart. The Fresno ICE Detention Center's icy walls pulsed, fluorescent lights stuttering like a dying heart, the hum chanting, "Forget, live." The air was thick with blood and decay, frost creeping up my legs, whispering my name. My crowbar trembled in one hand, my mother's locket in the other, its weight a lifeline, as Elena Marquez's note, remembering his death and Sarah's fate, burned in my mind. The chamber was a tomb of frozen bodies, their chests rising faintly, eyes darting beneath ice. My mother, Maria Alvarez, lay among them, her face serene yet desperate, labeled "Terminated, 2003. The warden stood before me, his ice uniform pristine, his void face swirling with static. "You've broken the archive," he glitched, voice a chorus of distortion. "Chaos must be contained." I clutched the locket, heart pounding. "I won't forget her," I said, my voice steady despite the cold. He tilted his head, unnatural. "The archive erases chaos memories, pain, crimes you chose to forget. Now you pay." The walls pulsed faster, frost cracking like gunfire. I swung the crowbar at a nearby control panel, its screen flickering. "Archive system failing. Memory suppression 75%. My name blinked, José Alvarez, resisting beside Michael Dean. "Terminated." Sparks flew as I struck again, the hum wailing, lights stuttering. The frozen bodies twitched, some thawing, steam rising, others dissolving into black sludge, their screams overlapping. "Don't let me remember." A woman, Elena Marquez, sat up, her frozen scream softening, eyes wide. "Jose," she whispered, "you woke us." Her body shuddered, frost reforming, pulling her back. I ran to my mother's side, smashing the ice around her with the crowbar. It cracked, her hand twitching, fingers reaching for mine. "Jose," she gasped, voice muffled but alive. Tears froze on my cheeks as I hacked harder, the locket burning in my hand. The warden's voice boomed. Termination is inevitable. His hand reached out, cold as death, and I swung, the crowbar passing through his static form. He reformed closer, his void face looming. The archive is eternal, he hissed. You cannot escape. The frost surged, gripping my legs, the walls breathing faster, chanting, forget, live. A file lay at my mother's feet. Archive Directive, Fresno, 2003. It read, the archive resets identities to maintain order. Resistors are frozen, their memories erased. José Alvarez and Maria Alvarez, terminated for resistance. My heart shattered. The memory of her scream agents tearing us apart now clear. I was her son, not a safety engineer, not Michael Dean. I smashed the panel again, sparks exploding, the hum faltering. The chamber shook, ice splintering, detainees moaning, some dissolving, others waking. Elena's voice cried, I remember my daughters, before she collapsed into sludge, her choice made. My mother's eyes met mine, warm, fierce. Jose, you found me, she whispered, her hand gripping mine, weak but real. I sobbed. Mama, I'm sorry. The warden appeared, his void face pulsing. You've destroyed the system. He glitched, voice fracturing. Chaos will consume you. I swung the crowbar at a final cable bundle, sparks flying, the hum dying. The walls stopped pulsing, lights dimming, frost retreating. My mother pulled free, shivering, her arms wrapping around me. You remembered, she said, tears falling. The warden's form flickered, static erupting. The archive will rebuild, he hissed, voice fading. I clutched my mother. The locket pressed between us. The detainees' screams softened, some standing, others dissolving, their eyes empty or alive with pain. A boy, Carlos, maybe whispered, I forgot to survive, before vanishing into sludge. The chamber grew warmer, the ice melting, the hum gone. My mother's voice anchored me. Jose, we're free. But the warden's laughter echoed faintly, his void face flickering in the dark, promising return. I held her, knowing I'd remembered everything her love. Our fight, the archive's cruelty. The cost was clear. Remembering was death. But forgetting was worse. The hallway stilled, the doors silent. The archive shattered for now. The silence was deafening. The archive's hum gone, replaced by the drip of melting frost and my mother's ragged breaths as I held her in the thawing chamber. I was Jose Alvarez, the lie of Michael Dean shattered by the truth of 2003, her hand slipping in the desert. Her scream, Jose, as agents tore us apart. The Fresno ICE Detention Center's walls no longer pulsed. The fluorescent lights dim and steady. The air heavy with blood and decay now mingling with damp concrete. My crowbar lay discarded, its rust staining the floor, while my mother's locket burned in my hand, her warmth against me a lifeline. Elena Marquez's note, remembering his death and the screams of Sarah. Carlos and the others lingered, but the archive was broken, or so I hoped. My mother, Maria Alvarez, shivered in my arms, her eyes fierce yet fragile, no longer trapped in ice. Jose, you did it. she whispered. Her voice cracked but alive. I clutched her, tears thawing on my cheeks. Mama, I remembered you. The chamber was a graveyard of melted ice and black sludge, remnants of detainees who dissolved under the weight of their memories. Elena Marquez's body lay still, her frozen scream softened, as if she'd found peace in her end. A boy, Carlos, perhaps had vanished, his final whisper, "I forgot to survive," echoing in the quiet. The walls, once breathing, were now still, frost retreating, leaving raw concrete scarred with pleas. Elena, 2024. Maria, 2003. Don't tell me. I helped my mother stand, her legs weak, her hand gripping mine like in the desert all those years ago. The hallway beyond the chamber was dark, the numbered doors silent, their tapping and sobs gone. My boots crunched on grit, the air warmer but heavy, like a tomb exhaling its secrets. I found a final file near the staircase, its pages brittle, labeled Archive Termination Report. Fresno, 2003. It read, "Facility designed to erase memories of resistors. José Alvarez and Maria Alvarez, terminated for defiance. Reset failed. Archive protocol. Freeze to preserve order." My chest tightened. The truth. Brutal. The archive hadn't just erased memories. It had erased us, replacing our lives with lies like Michael Dean's. A faint hum flickered, a ghost of the archive's chant. Forget. Live. I froze, heart pounding, and glanced at my mother. Her eyes widened, searching the shadows. "It's not over," she whispered. I gripped the locket. Its photo of us, young Jose and her, smiling, anchoring me. The staircase loomed, leading back to the freezer, to the world above. We climbed, each step echoing, the air growing warmer, the metallic tang fading. At the top, the freezer door hung open, its frost melted, revealing the basement's concrete cavern, pipes dripping like tears. I scanned for the warden, expecting his void face to flicker, but the red camera light above was dark. My radio cracked on the floor, hissed faintly, the metallic voice gone. My mother leaned on me, her breath steadying. "We're free," she said, but her eyes darted, wary. I nodded, wanting to believe it, but the archive's silence felt like a held breath. Near the freezer, I found a final tape, unlabeled, its case cracked. I hesitated, then jammed it into a nearby player. The screen flickering, it showed a room of frozen bodies, my mother among them, her voice pleading. "Jose, don't forget me." The warden's voice cut in. "Archive will rebuild. Memory is chaos. Order is eternal." The screen went black, static hissing. My mother grabbed my arm, her grip tight. "We need to leave," she urged. I nodded, but the hum flickered again, faint, from deep below. The warden's laughter echoed, a distorted whisper, not in the room, but in my head. "You can't escape the archive." I swung the crowbar at the player, sparks flying, silencing the tape. The basement was still, but the air felt alive, watching. We stumbled to the lobby. The linoleum cracked, the bulletin board sagging with its warning, "Do not enter sub-level B." My mother's hand trembled in mine, her eyes fierce, They can't take you again, she said. Outside, the Fresno sky was gray, the detention center's concrete walls silent. The barbed wire sagged, the boarded windows blind. I held my mother, the locket pressed between us, her warmth real. The archive was shattered, its detainees freed or lost. But the warden's final whisper lingered. Order is eternal. I looked back. The freezer's hum faint, a promise of return. Remembering had saved us. But at what cost? The dust settled, but the archive's echoes followed us into the light. The Fresno sky was heavy with gray clouds as I stepped out of the ICE detention center, my mother's arm around mine, her warmth grounding me. I was José Alvarez, the lie of Michael Dean gone, burned away by memories of 2003, her hand slipping in the desert, her scream, "José," as agents tore us apart. The center's concrete walls loomed behind us, silent, its barbed wire sagging, boarded windows blind. The air was damp, free of the archive's metallic tang, but the warden's final whisper order is eternal lingered like a chill I couldn't shake. My mother's locket rested in my pocket, its weight a promise kept. Though Elena Marquez's note, remembering his death and the screams of Sarah, Carlos, and the others echoed in my mind, we walked away. Her steps unsteady but fierce, her eyes scanning the horizon. "José, you brought me back," she whispered. Her voice cracked but strong. I clutched her hand, tears no longer freezing. The crowbar left behind in the shattered archive. The freezer's hum was gone. The pulsing walls still. The frost melted into puddles. The detainees, some freed, others lost to black sludge, were quiet now, their sobs silenced. But as we crossed the cracked asphalt, a faint vibration hummed beneath my feet. A ghost of the archive's chant, "Forget, live." I stopped, heart pounding, and glanced back. The center's entrance was a dark maw, the red camera light above it flickering once, then dying. My mother squeezed my hand. "Don't look back," she said, her voice a lifeline. I nodded, but a crumpled paper lay in the dust, half buried. I knelt, brushing it clean. Archive Directive, Fresno, 2025. System reboot initiated. My stomach twisted. The warden's void face flashed in my mind, his glitched voice promising return. I tore the paper, scattering it to the wind. We kept walking, the city's hum replacing the archives. Fresno's streets stretched ahead, ordinary, alive. My mother's eyes met mine, warm, fierce. "We're free," she said, but her glance darted back, wary. I clutched the locket, her photo us, smiling, anchoring me. Remembering had saved us, but the archive's echo lingered, a warning that its order might rebuild. The light beyond was ours, but the cold below never forgets.